Welcome back everyone, this is MandoAllDay, back with another video, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at Dark Knights of Steel Vol.1. This is a hardcover, and this is by Tom Taylor, and again this is Volume 1, so it is a bit short of a book, but again this is Volume 1. So as always, we're going to be taking a look at a little bit of the art, talk a little bit about the story, and of course if it's worth your purchase or not. But before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button to now support channel, to keep up to date and watch videos like this. So let's take a look at the front dust jacket. And so it looks, which I like, this art piece looks really cool. The spine, and there's the back, and it does retail for $24.99. Alright, now let's take a look underneath the dust jacket, and I really like this piece. Just look at this. Tell me that don't look dope. Come on, that looks really cool. The spine and the back. Alright, now let's talk about the book and look at the art. So the book starts off with, well, before I get started with talking about a little bit of the art, but essentially what it is it's an Elseworld story. So Tom Taylor basically decided, you know what, let's just have a story where it takes place in medieval times, and that's mainly like kind of the gist of it. They just wanted to tell a story within medieval times, and again, this is an Elseworld story, so I want to say that, hence why you see all this, the arts, again, the story is mainly about medieval times. But anyways, it starts off with a certain character, and again, I say character because I'm going to be vague, because I don't want to give away anything about this story, or, yeah, it's about the story, because if I give it away, it'll ruin the fun. But essentially it starts off with a certain character having a vision, or can predict about a certain prophecy of a big war. Such a big war that it could end the world type of thing. The human race. And that's basically how it starts off with. And of course, after that, it does show a little bit of the story of Batman and his Robins. Again, it's kind of funny, but his Robins kind of, how can I say, meeting up with a certain character. Again, I'm being very vague, because a lot of these characters, essentially they are DC characters, but they're characters that you're like, oh yeah, I wonder how this character looks. I mean, you can see here, you got Harley Quinn, you know, obviously like the Jester. You would think Joker is a Jester, but he's not, which is kind of really cool. But anyways, going on to the story, a little bit of the story. So Batman basically has to go and take care of some business. So while he's there, he meets up with another character. Obviously, you can see here, Superman, and start talking and whatnot. And then one night, and I'm going to skip some pages because I do not want to spoil what happens. But essentially, one night, something bad happens. Something very tragic happens, and then obviously they start to investigate what happened. But more importantly, who did such a thing? Who was the one who started all this? And who's the one who started this whole tragedy, I guess you can say. And from there on, and when I say they, I'm referring to the different dynasties, because there's different dynasties. You got the Superman one, the Wonder Woman, and of course, another one. Again, I'm going to be vague, because I do not want to spoil anything regarding this story, because it ruined the fun, like I said. So they'll start investigating, and then one thing leads to another. They end up with going up against each other, and so this is Volume 1. It ends off in a cliffhanger, but I gotta say though, this story is really fun, man. I really like the story. The pacing of it, fairly quick. I think it really is like less than an hour, which I'm surprised. Usually this probably take me about an hour and a half, but it took me less than an hour to read this. And again, the pacing is very good, above average, it's fairly quick. The art's really good. Again, the matte finish on this art it's a disservice to this book, because it's so much. The art is so good, man. I really like it, and the fact that it's during like medieval times with DC comic characters, which is really weird, but it's also fun at the same time, which I really like. Again, all the art, is really good. The story's good, and the best part about it is it's DC characters in medieval times. So when you're reading it, you start kind of asking yourself, okay, how does the Joker look like in medieval times? How would he look like? Or Aquaman, or Flash, or Reverse Flash, or Deathstroke, and so forth. And again, while I was reading it, that just kept going through my mind, like, how would this character look here during medieval times? And I gotta say, man, the way this ends it ends it on a good cliffhanger, because again, this is Volume 1. Obviously, it's going to be Volume 2, which is the story's going to continue, but I really like it, man. It ends up so well to the point where I'm like, you know what? I want to see what happens next. I want to know what exactly how it ends up with, and I'm into it, man. I really, really dig this story. I think Tom Taylor did a fantastic job with the storyline. Again, it is weird because it is medieval times, but it's fun though, and that's what I like about the story. Is that the story's simple, it's pretty straightforward. By the second issue, you kind of figure out, okay, you kind of predict what's going to happen, but the fun part is seeing the DC characters, like Harley Quinn, Batman, his Robins, Superman, Supergirl, Alfred, and so forth. Obviously, we have Poison Ivy here. How would they look and be portrayed in medieval times? And I think that's where the fun part is, and that's why I'm kind of being vague, because I don't want to give away anything. Because there's some other characters here that, like, if you read this, you can be like, oh, that's that character. That's... Again, I don't want to say it. I don't want to give it away, but I really, really dig this story, man. I had such a fun time reading this book, and I'm really looking forward to seeing, how they conclude it. Because, again, this is the first 6 issues. I believe it's a total of 12 issues. I could be wrong, though, but here you go. We got another character here, 2 other characters which I've not mentioned, and which, again, I want to skip because I don't want to give it away. But, again, I really like this story. Definitely recommend getting it. I think Tom Taylor did a fantastic job with the Dark Knights of Steel. Really, again, you're going to have a lot of fun with it. If you want to read a short story that doesn't need to have any prerequisites or anything like that, or anything you need to before you're getting into this is a perfect book, man. I had a good time, and in my opinion, Dark Knights of Steel, Volume 1, thumbs up for me. Highly recommend getting it. Let me know what you guys think. Have you read this story? Do you plan on reading this story? Leave it in the comment section below. As always, make sure you hit the subscribe button to not support channel, but to keep up to date and watch videos like this. That includes an overview of Dark Knights of Steel Volume 1 by Tom Taylor, and on to the next one.